Beyond the Veil.
Big news target circle.
No. I am Adina, your hostess with the mostest, your psychic medium, oracle, wise woman, woo lady, whatever you want to call me. Good Wednesday evening. Happy day of Mercury to everybody. If this is your first time joining me, I am so glad that you're here. And if you're not into the kind of thing that I do here, best wishes to you on your way out. I send you blessings. But if you are one of my regular viewers, one of my blessed babies, hello, my dear. Hello, Christine. How are you this Wednesday? Hello, DeFranco. How are you this Wednesday, this day of Mercury? How's everybody doing? I'm going to let you guys keep making your way in. I'm going to sip on this Polar Pop in the meantime and in between time. As you guys are telling me about how your day is. I love you too, Miss Carol. That is such an amazing way to come in here. I love you. Sleeves brim suit. You went to the beach, DeFranco? Yes. Now that sounds like a good way to spend the day. You're doing okay, Christine? I'm amazing now that you guys are here. Tiara, my dear, hello. Hello. Happy Wednesday. Come right on in. We are going to shenanigan again today. I'm almost gonna pick up where I would have led into had I did a readathon and went on for 4 hours or 6 hours, but I had to cut it with Trump. But this topic is the same. Miss Carol, I hope you're doing amazing. Hello in France. That sounds like an amazing place to be right now as well. Good music, good arts, good wine. Hello in France. And hello to everybody everywhere you are in the whole wide world. Blessings upon all of you. Every single one of you. Blessings upon you and your household and your children. And if you don't have any, in your finances and all of your finances, blessings upon you. All right. Thank you. You are a great piece of art, too. So, today, I just have one request, and that is let me in now. Let me in now. Bill Gates, Donald Trump, let me in now. In now. I got money to let my friends. Now we in now. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's Nelly. That's a quote from Nelly's song. I'm going down, down, baby. Your street in a Range Rover, street sweeper, baby. Ready to let it go. I thought it was most appropriate for what I'm going to be talking about today. Last time I was in front of you guys, I talked about Donald Trump and his desires to unleash his new forced military militia upon the hoods near you. And I saw in a headline that is absolutely what the fuck happened. I saw somewhere on social media where the new DC police Trump militia had confronted a group of young black men while sitting on their stoop. They were young black men. They had twist and young black skin, brown skin, and they were sitting on their stoops. And I heard one of the officers say, "Can you guys please just not drink and smoke because Trump doesn't like that?" I think I saw that on a blog. Let me see if I can find it on the good sis Google. DC police Let me just type in that first and see if it pops up. Give me 1 second, guys, to get my sources together. Thank you, Tiara, for being on mod duty. I don't know why my computer is being extra slow, but I did see that that happened. I'm just looking for somewhere to cite my sources. Nevertheless, oh, it's come up. Person stopped by DC police taken into ICE custody amid police takeover. That is on NBC4 Washington. Fox News says Trump is making the right move by federalizing DC police, CEO argues. The Guardian, Trump says he'll seek long-term control of DC police and signals he'll target other cities. As I said yesterday, um, so I mentioned that they would be coming into the hoods near you, and that's what I saw today. Now, Donald Trump, I've done a reading on him before. It's called, Bill Gates. I've done a reading on him before, just one, and it's called Bill Gates and His God Complex. And someone requested that I do another one on him, and I guess now is an appropriate time. He is in the headlines right now. Amongst other things, I know the only thing that I got a chance to pay attention to was the fact that he is looking to release his new contraceptive in Kenya, which will prevent people from having children for up to 8 years, I believe. Now, why he chooses Kenya to test this out in, your guess is as good as mine. But if you have watched my Bill Gates and His God Complex reading, you're not new to why we're going to speak about him today. So let me get Google a chance to catch up with my demand to pull up Bill Gates. I said pull up Bill Gates. Okay. Keisha, hopefully we'll get to the nitty gritty of that. Now, I think it's interesting. Bill Gates also is rolling out a new company. I think it's called Source or something like that. Let me see. And it is a new non-agriculture based butter, a non-dairy butter. It's a lab made. Bill Gates backs lab made carbon butter that tastes like real butter. I think it's interesting because Bill Gates owns a lot of farmland here in the US. And so imagine buying up a lot of land. I'll say not farmland. Imagine buying up acres and acres and acres, thousands of acres of land in the US, which could be used for agriculture, farming, dairy producing, amongst other things, and then monopolizing the game by producing your own lab made butter. Is he giving us an alternative, or are we being forced into or to accept an alternative? Bill Gates backed butter made from carbon is slammed for being disgusting. That is on the Daily Mail. CBS News. Butter made from, okay, and this is 7 days ago. CBS News. I agree, Keisha. A company in Batavia, Illinois, um, is making butter in a way you've never seen before. No plants, no oils. This butter is no animals, no plants, no oils. This butter is made from carbon. The sustainability focused approach has the benevolent blessing and backing of Bill Gates. It looks, smells, and tastes like the butter we all know, but it's made without the farmland, free of fertilizer emissions tied to the typical process. This unprecedented process is happening at the facilities of Savor in an industrial park in the suburbs of west of Chicago. So you're using this gas right now to cook your food, and we're proposing that we would like to first make your food. Hold on. So you're using this gas right now to cook your food, and we're proposing that we would like to first make your food with that gas, said Kathleen Alexander, co-founder and CEO of Savor. The company's pioneering tech uses carbon and hydrogen to make sticks of butter that anyone would recognize. This is pretty novel. So don't be alarmed. This is novel. To be able to make food that looks and tastes and feels exactly like dairy butter, but with no agriculture whatsoever. That means it's not butter. I can't believe it's not butter, but it's not. It's carbon. Mm, said Jordan Biden Charles, food scientist for Savor. And without a long ingredient list, the average person can't pronounce. Well, butter is usually dairy. So we can pronounce cow, okay? We can pronounce milk. Mm-hmm. Yep, sure can. It's really just our fat, some water, a little bit of lecithin, as an emulsifier, and some natural flavor and color. First of all, they said it's without the long ingredient list of butter the average person can't pronounce, but then goes on to tell us what's in their butter, which I struggle to pronounce. It's really just our fat, some water, a little bit of lecithin as an emulsifier. What the fuck is that? Butter is cow, it's a milk, it's dairy. I can say all those so easily. What the fuck is emulsifier? What the fuck is lecithin? That sounds like a medication that you take for a lifelong illness. Can't you guys hear the lecithin commercial? It actually sounds like a herpes medicine. Picture this, the commercial. It's upbeat music, shopping music, grocery shopping music. You see a couple swinging each other in the park on a swing. They're laughing, smiling. It almost looks like a Colgate advertisement, but it's not. Don't let herpes stop your life. Don't let herpes stop your joy. Try lecithin. It's an emulsifier that prevents the herpes breakout. Emulsifier is how you make vinaigrette. So why are we making something that we use to make vinaigrette for butter? It's just okay. But anyways, thank you, because I had no idea what an emulsifier was or emulsification, but I know that they said that it was easier to pronounce than the ingredients in butter. I know that much. Anybody know what lecithin? I can Google it, but okay. It describes mixing two things that don't naturally mix, like oil and water. But they say it so casually. I'm quoting this. Listen, end quote. It's really just our fat, comma, some water, comma, a little bit of lecithin as an emulsifier, meaning a little bit of lecithin to mix two unnaturally mixing ingredients. The lecithin is to make an unnatural process happen. It's to force an unnatural process to happen. And some natural flavor and color. Thank you, Brad. And then they go on to explain how it works. So if you have to explain how the process of butter works besides churning a dairy product, I probably just don't want it. I just probably don't want it at all. I don't. I'll pass. I'll even pass on the bread. This is how it works. Fats are made up of carbon and hydrogen chains. The goal is to replicate those chains without animals or plants, and they did it. We should be so proud of them. Now, I'm going to stop right there for a second and go to the good book of Genesis. Yes, 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 I'm going to the good book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, and I'm just reading from the King James Version, just to get to a point. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, and God said, "Let there be light." We're going to skip down to verse 6. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Then we're going to skip down to verse 10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters and the seas, the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that that was good. So creating earth, land, and seas, and night and day was pretty good. Good. This is how I create. Yeah, good, 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 good. Everything's good. Check. Okay. Genesis chapter 1, verse 11. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth the grass, and the herb yielding the seed after its kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was inside of itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Good, 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 good. Everything good. Yep, yep. Fruit, herb, trees, grass. Yep, good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. So that was on day 3. All right. So now we're going to go on down. Now we're going to go on down to Genesis chapter 1, verse 20. And God said, "Let the waters," hold on, because not the space, "let the waters first bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, and the fowl that may fly in the earth in the open firmament of heaven." So first of all, life, Dawata, like I said in my alien invasion reading, and about how you can get to outer space. Okay. So God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, and the fowl, so that it may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." And God created whales and every living creature that move, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God said, "Yep, that was good. Bet. Yep. Then God said, "Let them be fruitful and multiply." That's the fifth day. Genesis chapter 1, verse 24. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth. Some of y'all ancestors. I'm just kidding. Kind of not. Okay. God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, because there's a distinction between the beasts of the earth and the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing upon the earth after his kind. And God said, yep, that's good. Yep, good. And then in verse 26, we have man and female, male and female being created at the same time together. Let us make man, meaning mankind, in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creep upon the earth. And God created man in his own image. In the image of God created him. Male and female created he them at the same time. But that's another story. And he blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and every creeping thing that live and move on the earth. And I have given you, verse 29, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon all the face of the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat, meaning to be for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creep upon the earth, wherein there is life. Everything that creep upon the earth wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. That is the story of how the earth was created, when we were created, what we were told to do on this earth, not even to love each other and like each other. We're supposed, the love is supposed to help us be fruitful and multiply. It's supposed to help us do our job better. But we're supposed to be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and eat all the herbs, all the fruit, all the cattle, and everything it produces. That is our, as mankind, first direction in our history on the earth of what we should do. Get together, fuck each other, have babies, and rule the earth. Multiply everything I gave you on this earth to be a good steward over the earth, a good shepherd over the earth. Take care of it for me. But this is how. Okay. So back to the butter. This is how it works. Fats are made up of carbon and hydrogen chains. The goal is to replicate what God did, possibly, what God created. Is that an action of an anti-God, antichrist, so some of you call it? I would say so. I would say so. Giving us an alternative is one thing, but monopolizing land in a nation, in a country that could be used to agriculture, farm, and produce things as we are told to do, but not using it to do that and owning it and not allowing anyone else to do that, so that you can then produce your faux butter. Okay. The goal is to replicate those chains without animals or plants. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree In the which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for food, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creep on the earth, wherein there is life. There's life in plants, there's life in animals. I have given every green herb for food, and it was so. The goal is to replicate those chains without animals or plants, and they did it. To put it in simple terms, Savor says they can take carbon dioxide from the air and the hydrogen from the water, heat them up, oxidize them, and get a final result that looks like candle wax, but is in fact fat molecules like those in beef, cheese, or vegetable oils. The entire process releases zero greenhouse gases, uses no farmland to feed cows. So, is that why you bought it up? And despite its industrial appearance, not agricultural, not rural appearance, despite its industrial appearance, it has a significantly smaller footprint. Smaller footprint than what? I'm reading an article on CBSNews.com. It has a significantly smaller footprint than what? It stops there. There's a period behind that. So we don't know exactly how large the footprint is. We just know that it's significantly smaller than something that they never told us what. In addition to the carbon footprint being much lower for a process like this, much lower than what? What are we measuring that with? What are we comparing that to? Right, the land footprint is like 1,000 times lower than what you need in traditional agriculture. The land footprint, sure, it takes less land to produce this butter than it does to produce real butter, is what they're saying. But most of us don't own land. We don't own farms. We don't own acres, and we don't own the resources to create or agriculture. But we do buy butter out of the grocery store. You guys are only telling us, you guys are only telling us that to produce faux butter, you only need a factory and not land. Oh, but the most important question is, how does it taste? That's the most important question. See how the media feeds you programming. They're not asking, what is the most important question, and leaving that for the people to respond to. They're telling us, after all that other science that they gave us, the most important question is, how does it taste? Because you guys are too dumb to care about all the other science mumbo jumbo they just did to explain what you're actually consuming. They think you only care about, yeah, but how does it taste? Right now, the company is working directly with restaurants, bakeries, and food suppliers. They are who? Which ones? Which ones? Does the general public have the right to know which food suppliers, bakeries, and restaurants are working with Savor so that we can choose whether we want to or not consume their faux butter? They are releasing chocolates made with their butter in time for the 2025 holiday season. Who? Who is the they? They expect for the average consumer, meaning you, to be able to buy them in the near future. You didn't even ask for it. Did you guys collectively ask for a new butter? But the average consumer will be able to get it in the near future. Savor butter in either its current manifestation or with our partners. We expect that to be on the shelves kind of more like around 2027, Alexander said. All the shelves? The teams in Batavia and their home lab based in San Jose, California are backed by billionaire Bill Gates, who wrote in his blog, "The idea of switching to lab-made fats and oils may seem strange at first, but their potential to significantly reduce our carbon footprint, as if we have the resources to create such a large negative carbon footprint. All we are consumers. That's all the average person has the power to do. We all aren't major manufacturers. So that's not something that we should even be worried about. That's something you guys should be worrying about. Not giving us faux butter, maybe cutting back on your industrialism, possibly to start. The idea of switching to lab-made fats and oils may seem strange at first, but their potential to significantly reduce our carbon footprint is immense. The company believes butter can make a difference. This is really about how we feed our species and heal our planet at the same time, Alexander said. Who the fuck is their species? They said this is how we feed our species. They did not say this is about how we feed each other or ourselves. They said this is how we feed our species and heal our planet at the same time. They are saying it as if they have ownership over a species, which is us. We're human beings. They just said this is how we feed our species and heal our planet at the same time. Whose? What species? What planet do you own? What species do you have? That is what brought me to my Bill Gates and his God complex part 2. Because they always tell you directly in your freaking faces exactly who, what, when, where, and why. But the most important question, how does it taste? I think the questions I just asked were pretty important. I don't give a fuck how your faux butter tastes because I don't plan on putting it anywhere near my mouth. I don't plan on putting it off of whatever shelf you guys put it on. Spirit, let me just start raw dogging. Spirit, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Bill Gates. I hear hissing, I hear roaring, like a monster, like a dungeon dragon. Rah, rah. Weeping and moaning and gnashing of teeth. And the gnashing of teeth are his. Just consuming humans, I see. Consuming humans. A big Bill Gates head in like a circus, mouth open that you walk into like you're about to go into a haunted house, but it's his face. And the mouth just and then people just walk in like zombies, just walk in into the fucking circus, and he just manja, manja, manja. It's not even population control anymore. I think for Bill Gates, this is his joy. This is his pleasure. This is his life's purpose. His greatest work. His greatest work is to feed the human species to the beast, willingly, with their willing and knowing consent. That is the greatest power trip, is to have all the power in the world. Sorry, someone was calling me and they froze me. What is a tranny gap? Imagine I just had a spam caller spam me in the middle of this reading. Anyways, that has to be the greatest power trip in the world, to know that you have all the power in the world and you don't have to use it in a manipulative way. You can literally tell people who and what you are, and then they'll come anyways. Spirit. Bill Gates said, I quote from his blog, the idea of switching to lab-made fats and oils has the potential to significantly reduce our carbon footprint. Spirit, is that why Bill Gates is switching, or trying to herd us into switching to lab-made fats, oils, and products? Is it to reduce our carbon footprint like he said? Was Bill Gates being honest when he said that his backing of doing this is to reduce our carbon footprint? Is that true? Him saying that, is that his true intent? Justice in reverse. There's no bigger liar, liar card than a justice in reverse. It's a major arcana, and it's justice, which is truth and justice, but in reverse. And I asked, was he telling the truth? I got the major arcana for liar, liar, pants on fire. In fact, not just liar, but a dangerous liar. This is a crime against humanity to see a major arcana come out of justice in reverse. That means crimes against the entirety of humanity. I asked if he was telling the truth. Justice in reverse. That's not, I believe, reducing a carbon footprint has nothing to do with why they're doing this. Then why say that? Why lie? They do not, and by they, it means elites. They do not feel the need to share their true intentions, cups, their true motivations. Neither do they want you to have God body connections. Anything that, when God created man and woman and their kind in the earth and gave them every green herb and tree and gave them both, everything that God gave us naturally, the desire, the crime against humanity, it has nothing to do with just food either. It's not going to stop there. It's everything that God created. It's the new gods and the old gods. Watch American Gods if you need a good reference. This is the attempt to sever the connection between the old world as it was created and as it will always be. Because this always corrects itself. It always, always does. It's a natural law. And they can do what they want to the world, but they can't do anything with nature, not natural law. That's something you can't even touch. But it's there. However, right now, not even reducing the population anymore. They have population control under control. Trust me. That was a goal from a long, long time ago. This is recreating creation piece by piece, and herding you into it slowly. If you were to wake up one day and they just announced the New World Order, like a lot of churches and media and stories about what the end days look like were to happen, how many of you would reject it, knowing that that's what you're looking for to wake up to? No, slowly by surely, though. Slowly by surely. We're already crying about a shortage of foods and the price of foods. You know how many people are going to be willing, and they're restricting food stamps. You know how many people are not going to have a choice, are not going to care. Absolutely, survival of the fittest. And then buying up all the, let's see, let's just start with the US. How much land does Bill Gates own? You guys ready? Bill Gates owns approximately 270,000 acres of farmland in the United States, making him the largest private farmland owner in the country. The largest farmland owner in the country is producing a faux agricultural product, a faux butter, that he boasts that they have been able, it ain't even about greed. He doesn't care about the land. It's so that you can be forced into the products that they give you. Buying up all the farmland, monopolizing agriculture, and then not producing anything but lab-made products. Do you think out of that 270,000 acres, Bill Gates is going to allow anyone to farm on it? Because if he was, he wouldn't have bought 270,000 acres of farm land to boast that they have created a butter that doesn't need as much. So his concern was taking it. That's it. It was taking it so that they can give us products. It starts with butter, but we already have lab meats. They could start giving us new foods and hoarding the resources for us to have an alternative and say, no, we'd rather have farm produced foods. Well, if he's the largest farm owner in the United States, what if he says no? Now that's why he would be the largest farm owner in the United States. To then turn around, the purchases began in 2013 through various limited liability companies, according to NBC News. So just about 10 years ago, he started purchasing farmland in the United States. And now about 12 years later, he is now the largest farm owner in the United States and has just now released a new lab-made butter that he boasts is made without plants or animals and without a large agricultural footprint. Bill Gates also said this year that he predicts that in the next 10 years, human beings will be obsolete for everything but entertainment. So he has 10-year goals that he's productive with. We should all be more like him, not in that way, but this is to sever ties with sever their species with their creator. With their creator. Severing ties with their creator that made us. Come on now. And monopolizing all the agricultural land That's why. Let's look at this severing of ties. Because that's the more sinister. I want you guys to understand the mind behind this man. Another liar, liar, pants on fire. But this is somebody who is sneaky, but they've also already been exposed. So this is somebody that actually probably enjoys telling us all about his plans, because most people don't read between the swords to see what this person is actually doing. Aren't they sneaky? But most people aren't reading between the swords to see their true face, because their true face is exposed, not completely hidden. You just got to read between the swords here. Most people don't. Lies, lies. But this is a God complex. This is a dangerous person. This is my least favorite king to see in reverse. And I say that because the King of Cups has a cup. If you get doused, you might survive, unless it's with acid, and you still have a chance of surviving. If it's poison, just don't breathe in, don't inhale. If it's a pentacle, you might get some rocks thrown at you, but if you stick and move, you can avoid that. You might get hit and get a concussion, but you can survive that. If it's a wand, it's a stick. You can survive getting hit with a stick, but you can't survive. You have a least likely chance of surviving getting stabbed with a sword. And that's why I say this is my least favorite king to see in reverse. And here we are. Let's look behind this man. Let's look and see who this man is. Wouldn't be surprised if I get a major arcana like Judgment in reverse or something like that. Or the Hangman in reverse. The Hermit. The God Complex. I needed one of these God Complex cards to pop up, and here it is. This is an overlord. A lord who does what he wants because he's more enlightened than everybody else. And he has this staff of rulership to be able to do so. He only focuses on his goals. This man, some may call him a nerd. This man is probably the most focused man. And this is a Virgo card, Hermit. Virgo is a Mercury card. Here we are on the day of Mercury, Wednesday. This is probably the most focused man I've ever read. The most focused. His whole life is his work. I do not think that he cares anything about regular human beings at all. He barely probably cares about his own blood, but he cares more about them than he does everybody else. Even the people, even his peers, probably even the people who are higher up, more powerful than him. He probably feels like because they need me so bad, I'm the genius, I'm smarter, I control the human species. They may have the resources, but I know how to control even them. The food that they eat, the medicine that they take, the air that they breathe. He feels like God. And I said this in my first time reading him. My second time reading him, I'm saying it again. I think he feels like he is God. There is no other way to describe this man. And I'm describing this man. And I don't think he cares for human. I think that he feels like if I was the creator, I would have gotten rid of them again a long time ago. And that's kind of what he does. Gets rid of people and then helps to create or set the tone, set the stage for the new humans. More controllable. More controllable. This is the biggest Godplex I've ever seen. This man, I believe, thinks he is the God. So that was me asking if the carbon footprint was his true intention or reducing it. It's silly species. Oh, silly species. All right. Spirit, let me ask one question and then I'll just go into a spread on him. Why is Bill Gates choosing Kenya to roll out his new contraceptive? Let me actually pull it up. Bill Gates, Kenya. Kenya contraceptive. Here we go. Somebody said, do I think his wife knew that that was his future? Business Insider Africa. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is set to launch a new long-acting contraceptive in Africa, beginning with Kenya later this year. Of course she knew. Of course. That's why she married him. This is a woman who married a god, and she probably comes from a certain bloodline, a certain family, a certain bloodline, or something like that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have married her. Do you think she just woke up and found out that he was who he was? No. This man is historical. He's a man of legend. And not saying that as a good thing. All history and all legends ain't good legends and good history. No. Anybody who marries and procreates is looking to be married to Jesus. Okay? Somebody's looking to be married. Mother or Magdalene, either one of them. Any woman that aligns with Bill Gates has a Mary complex or an equally big God complex. And I believe hers is. They are equally yoked. And I don't believe that they are on bad terms. Whatever separation or divorce they went through, that's rich people business. That's contract. That's money business. That's protecting assets and wealth business. That ain't got nothing to do with love. These are life partners. That's probably the only human being he cares about besides himself is Melinda. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is launching a new affordable long-term contraceptive in Africa, starting with Kenya. Africa, hide your wombs. The contraceptives, including a hormonal IUD, effective for up to 8 years. Why not do this in Europe? For up to 8 years, and a contraceptive patch aim to address obstacles such as cost and accessibility. Africa, you guys, are you having obstacles getting unpregnant? Is that something that you guys in Kenya and in Africa collectively are struggling with? Oh my God, I wish we can afford to not have babies. Actually, every African I know, culturally, traditionally, I mean, I dated in Africa. Children were an honor. Children were wealth. Contraceptive. While receiving praise from whom? From whom? They never say who. Concerns were raised about the ethical implications of externally funded family planning initiatives in Africa. Notice the word family planning that they use. It's the same word that they use here that so many of us rally behind. Planned Parenthood, family planning. Those are the words that they use when they want you to get behind an initiative of theirs that is sinister in nature, but they don't want you to see it as though. And you women, a lot of women today cannot get down to the plan B, to the abortion family planning initiative Why is that an outrage? American women is like, what's the problem? Y'all, we need it. Don't nobody want to have kids. Don't nobody want to have babies. So America is the new world order is already here. And so are the new people, the new humans. I literally said Genesis 1. And I know I'm about to make some of y'all mad because some of y'all are on that liberal wave. And it's because you guys have soured about relationships and love. But listen, love and the pleasure of sex was not our right. It wasn't our initial command. Those were given to us to make our job better. If we love each other and have those sentiments, and if we enjoy doing the act, then you know what'll be easier to do? What the fuck we were told to do. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, meaning mankind, after our likeness, meaning they have to be made up of the same shit we are. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth. And so God created man in its own image. In the image of God created he them. Male and female created he them. Now there's another creation story in Genesis 2, but that's a different story that only my members, we talk about that. But now, and God, verse 28, and God blessed them. And God said to the male and the female, be fruitful. That's the first thing God said to the male and the female after they were created. Not get married and involve the state and sign a license. Who was gonna sign it? If God said he gave them dominion, meaning we weren't supposed to have anybody having dominion over us in the first place, like a government. Nevertheless, be fruitful. You know how a male and female does that? They have sex. So sex is pleasurable usually because it's our first commandment. It's the first thing that we were told to do is be fruitful. That means have babies, create families. The first thing we were told to do was create families. Now we have our government and billionaires funding family planning initiatives in the motherland. And you know who are some of the biggest champions behind it? The male and the female that were created in Genesis 26 with their brown selves. The most fertile people on the planet, which is why they're doing it in Africa and in your communities, in your black ass communities. And God blessed them. Now, the being fruitful is a blessing. So maybe the way we are doing it is wrong, not it in itself. We got it fucked up because we're fucked up, not the program. We are. That's the part nobody wants to just stop and take accountability about. It's not the act. God, this is a blessing. If it's messed up, it's because we mess it up. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. Then don't fucking get married, parasite. If you're a parasite, you don't have any business doing any of the aforementioned. You're a parasite. You're not a male or a female. You're a parasite. So you're not a human. So back to where you came from and where you belong with your kind. I smite thee and rebuke you from human business. Anyways, replenish the earth, multiply and subdue it. That requires responsibility because to whom much is given, much is required. And have dominion over it, meaning master it. But you got to master yourself first. So if you ain't got nothing, maybe it's have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that move upon the earth. The very first thing we were told to do when we were created. Now, I don't know about all that stuff, whining and dining, crying, pacifying, and going through phones and stuff y'all be talking about. But it is a good thing that we are not relating with each other so much right now because we need to get back to being healthy human beings first. Because we messed it up. That is a blessing, and it was the first blessing and commandment we were given after we were created. So back to the Bill Gates Foundation. While receiving praise, concerns were raised about the ethical implications of externally funded family planning initiatives in Africa. This innovation by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, it's an innovation, groundbreaking work, follows research showing poor health outcomes for African women. You know who been dibbling dabbling over in Africa since they've been alive darn near? Bill and Melinda Gates. And all of the missions and missionaries that go over there with their good tidings. This innovation by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation follows research showing poor health outcomes for African women. I wonder how that happened. Particularly those in underserved communities. That's where all the mission goes. That's where all the people that go to help go. And limited research and development funding for women's health conditions beyond cancer. Today, women's health issues are still too often misunderstood. No, the fuck they're not. We never had these kind of issues. I promise we didn't. The issues that I face today, my grandmother didn't face. My great-grandmother didn't face. So no. Too often misunderstood, misdiagnosed, or ignored. Although women generally live longer than men, they spend 25% more of their lives in poor health. Ru Fang Juan Chang, Director, Women's Health Innovations, Gates Foundation, noted. Interesting. We give birth to everybody. So imagine targeting family planning initiatives that affect women more than anybody else. And you guys say our bodies, our choice. Who told you to butcher your body? Who told you? Who told you to do that? Who implanted those ideas? Who made